Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, make sure you smash the like button. Let's get to 100 likes on this video. And please subscribe if you are new round here. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing 5 things that will happen if Chelsea were to appoint Ruben Amorim as their next manager. Now, of course, Mauricio Pochettino is still at the helm. The plan has always been to assess his future at the end of the season. But of course, that could change if results don't pick up. And reports are already indicating that the Blues have started to identify potential successors, with Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim and Brighton's Roberto De Zerbi, 2 names that feature on the shortlist. Now, and if Amorim were to come in, the Sporting Lisbon manager, he's been there 4 years. He's won the league at Sporting. He's doing a good job. They play a nice brand of football. Of course, there's always a risk associated with every managerial appointment. And of course, it remains to be seen whether or not Chelsea will pull the trigger before the end of the season. But there is enough evidence out there now to suggest, guys, that Amorim would be a good appointment. I think the first thing for me would be that the supporters would absolutely be reinvigorated. I think it's clear now that large sections of the fan base have turned against Pochettino. There are several unsavoury chants in his direction from the away end in the draw at Brentford. And it's going to be very tough for him to win the fans back over now that they've so visibly turned. And I think with the new manager and Amorim in the dugout, supporters would be given a new voice. Not only would he reinvigorate the players, but the sporting boss would also inspire thousands of fans who, will be desperate to reinvest themselves into the exciting project at Stamford Bridge, having become quite disillusioned with what's going on at this point of time under Mauricio Pochettino. Fans need a bit of a reinvigoration, a bit of a new love to get back on board with the direction that Chelsea are going down right now. And it's very, very difficult to see fans getting that with Mauricio Pochettino still at the helm. So that is the first thing, reinvigorated supporters, which, is a massive, massive thing and cannot be underestimated how important that is. The next one would be Amorim would just get back to basics. Pochettino this season is so often, he's been putting square pegs in round holes. We've seen us looking disjointed. We lack a tactical identity still. There doesn't seem to be a clear game plan in most games. And more often than not, we've just relied on the quality of individual players, such as Cole Palmer. And, whether it's playing Levi Cole at fullback, whether it's playing Ben Chilwell at left wing ahead of Mykhailo Mudryk, or whether it's the space between Enzo and Caicedo in the middle of the park, Pochettino hasn't done himself many favours. Even if his hand's been forced slightly with the injury crisis, I absolutely get that. But he certainly hasn't done himself any favours with his selections and with the way that he's been playing players out of position. Obviously, if Amorim came in, it would certainly see Chelsea return to a back 3, which they've had great success with under Antonio Conte and, of course, Thomas Tuchel. Amorim likes to dominate possession. And during Sporting's build-up play, he wants the 3 centre-backs to play the ball into the double pivot and break the first line of engagement, as it were. So by quickly establishing a recognisable but also an exciting brand of football, I think Chelsea could have a renewed identity, which is something that would be really, really important for the club. And it is something that, the Blues have definitely lost in recent years, 100%. And it would give the opportunity for Ben Chilwell a chance to get back to his best form, show some signs of redemption, as it were, for him. He's really struggled to get back to his best since the ACL injury, since long-term hamstring problem as well. And it could give him a new lease of life, playing in that wing-back system that he excelled so well in under Thomas Tuchel, winning the Champions League, being an integral part of that. He's really struggled to impress under Pochettino this season. And I think he would 100% benefit from switching to a back 3 system. I think it definitely suits him better. He's good going forward. He's not as comfortable defensively, but there would absolutely be an opportunity for redemption for Ben Chilwell. And then there's also the big question about Viktor Gyökeres. Now, of course, Amorim is getting a lot out of Gyökeres so far this season. He's having an outstanding season since joining from Coventry in the summer. And the last time Chelsea signed the manager and a player from the same team in the same transfer window, fans didn't take kindly to it. I think it was when Sarri joined from Napoli and he brought Jorginho with him, which didn't go down well with fans at all. But actually, in the end, it turned out to be two very good acquisitions. And if Chelsea were to bring Amorim in, then you can guarantee that there'd be even more questions about Viktor Gyökeres potentially coming to the club. And who's to say that would be a bad idea if you were to reunite Amorim and Gyökeres at Stamford Bridge? It's a player that he knows well. It's a player that he knows how to get the best out of. It's a player that knows the Amorim way of playing, and there's no reason why that potentially couldn't be a good fit at Stamford Bridge. That's certainly a question that wouldn't go away, would be asked all the time, and it would certainly increase the chances of Gyökeres possibly coming to Stamford Bridge. And of course, the other issue I'd say with potentially appointing Ruben Amorim is that he's got a release clause, an expensive release clause at that as well. I think it's around, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's around 25 to 30 million euros. And that could present an FFP issue potentially. Of course, Pochettino would be paid off. Yes, he only signed an initial 2-year contract, but there is an option for a third. And unless the Argentine unless he was to agree to walk away empty-handed, it would cost Chelsea millions. And Pochettino, I've seen reports saying that Poch could be entitled to a payoff of around £15 million. And then if you factor in the 30 million euros, around £25 million to get Amorim in, then you're looking at a £40 million outlay to remove Pochettino and bring the next manager in. And, we've already spent an absolute fortune on bringing in managers and getting rid of managers under Bowley and the Clear Lake ownership. So it's really, really important that this next appointment is right. There's a complete lack of trust in the hierarchy to get things right. I think you look at the situation the club finds itself in right now, and they got the appointment of Graham Potter wrong. Then obviously the sporting directors carried out a thorough and extensive process to appoint Mauricio Pochettino. The evidence so far is suggesting that looks like it's not proven to be a very good appointment. So how can you trust these guys to then get the next appointment right or go for the right person in the process because of their track record? It's very hard to have that trust in those people making the decisions. And that is another problem at Chelsea. And I think it's another reason why there's a disconnect between fans and the club right now, is that there's no trust in the people that are in the big positions, i.e. the ownership, the directors and the manager. There's no trust from the fans in any of them. And it's going to be really difficult to win back that trust. The only way they're going to win that trust back is by A, Pochettino winning on the pitch, B, making good decisions off the pitch, and C, if Pochettino does go, it's then bringing in the right man. But I think, the club are facing a very, very difficult period now in terms of we might miss out on Europe for the second season in a row. Can we really convince a decent manager to actually come to us? When you look at it and you think how many managers Chelsea have gone through in a short space of time, as a prospective manager coming to the club, would you actually want to take that job knowing that you could be out the door within 6 or 7 months? I'm not sure if you would. Couple that in with the fact, that there's the Liverpool job, the Bayern Munich job, the Barcelona job, all available this summer, potentially the Man United job as well, plus other jobs that will no doubt come up. And the Chelsea job is not as attractive as any of those. And we're going to be in a situation where we are going to be competing for the scraps of managers that don't get those top jobs. That's the reality right now. We are not dining at the top table of European football anymore in terms of being able to bring in the best of the best to manage his football club. That is just the reality right now. We're not the Chelsea of old. And Chelsea is not the attractive proposition to managers that it once was. This job is now a lot easier to turn down than it was before in the past. You know, you didn't say no to Chelsea. Now, I think a lot of managers would say no to Chelsea. And that's a damning indictment on this ownership and the route that we've chosen to go down. So, having just obviously spoken about Ruben Amorim and how I think he'd be my choice if Mauricio Pochettino were to stay, I actually think for the sake of this project and for the sake of Chelsea, we somehow need to find a way for this to work with Mauricio Pochettino. But I think we're at a point now where it seems damaged beyond repair. But for me personally, I would like it to work out with him. I think he's a good man manager. Yes, his coaching's not very good. It's clear to see. I think the players like playing for him. But ultimately, it's a results-based business and he's not getting the results. But Chelsea somehow need to get to the end of the season with him intact and then go from there. But it would be another disaster and another embarrassment for this ownership and for this project if we were to get rid of yet another manager in a short space of time and essentially start again. But yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts on Ruben Amorim and the Chelsea managerial situation as it is right now. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea and peace out, people.